Happy New Year, everyone. In this video today, I am going to be discussing and giving you a list of things that nurses are not dealing with in 2023. Okay? It's over, it's done. We're leaving those things in 2022 because we are tired. We are ready to take some of the power back. Okay? Nurses, we are the largest workforce in healthcare. Come on, y'all. Let's get into it. Number one, we are no longer going to accept being gaslighted for things we have no control over. Y'all hear that? The gaslighting that happens to nurses, especially to nurses working at the bedside, it's like no other. I remembered being a fairly, new nurse, new to somewhat experienced nurse, maybe 3-4 years into my career. I used to feel so bad for things that the managers or the charge nurses would point out that I did not do. I would literally feel bad. But then as I wisened up and got a little bit smarter, I realized, wait a minute. Do y'all understand what happened when I came on shift? As a nurse that works on day shift, when I come in, I'm picking up from where night shift left on. It is my firm belief that nursing is 24 hours. So I'm not one of those nurses who expect everything to be done. All of the tasks that happened on night shift, I don't come in with the mindset expecting all of it to be done. I understand a lot of unplanned events can come up, causing a delay. So when I get report, things get passed on to me, I usually jump right into it. But the gaslighting that happens to nurses when they're trying to do their very best is unreal. Take, for example, you go into a patient's room, the patient's having shortness of breath. That is the first thing you realize upon going in. As a nurse, you jump right into action because obviously we know respiratory distress, respiratory airway is the #1 priority. That whiteboard could stay blank all day. If my patient can't breathe, do you think I'm walking in there saying, oh, wait, hold on while you can't breathe. Let me go update the whiteboard. So you jump into a complete mess, patients in distress, then you have another patient next door who's incontinent, soiled. So you're taking care of this, but then you have to go take care of that. And then sometime during the day, the manager, the charge nurse, whoever is doing an audit, and they'll walk into your room and the first thing they look at is your whiteboard being blank or the whiteboard not being updated with the current day's event. And they'll point out, your whiteboard isn't updated. Yeah, I know. Let me explain to you why. He couldn't breathe when I came in. He couldn't breathe. The other patient was calling. The other patient was almost on the floor trying to get up by themselves. And there was another patient waiting to go to dialysis that I had to travel with. Of course, the whiteboard is going to stay blank. Y'all could keep that whiteboard. Stop gaslighting nurses. Another thing that used to happen is that so many things would be happening, right? Like patients are super sick, way more comorbidities than they had 20 years ago. So you're there. Nurses are literally fighting. We are fighting for our lives throughout the shift. And you end up punching out a little bit late. Let's just say you punch out at 7:47 instead of 7:30. And let's just say that happens a couple of times throughout the month. They'll call you in the office and they'll say, well, you're going to be written up because you have overtime, incidental overtime. So should I have just left all of the tasks undone? Should I have not finished my documentation? Should I have left the patient who had a bowel movement at 6:45? Should I have left them soiled and give a report and then go? Like, how are you blaming me for things that are beyond my control? So for 2023, the gaslighting, we're not doing it anymore. 2, we are no longer feeling bad for situations that's beyond our control. Oftentimes, when nurses go into work, especially these days, we're short-staffed. We're not working with a technician. There's not a secretary to answer the phones. We have patients who are super sick. The acuity is way high. At times, we have way more in our assignment than what we're supposed to have. Like, they'll increase the ratio by giving us 1 extra patient. And a lot of times, nurses leave at the end of the shift feeling demoralized. They feel as though they're incompetent and they feel bad. So for 2023, I want for you guys to shed that feeling of incompetence. It is not you. It is them. And I also had to realize this once I became experienced. Like, I'm good. I did the best that I can do with what was given to me. Now, I could have done better had I had a tech, had there been a secretary and I didn't have to stop, answer the phones, print out discharge paperwork, do all of the ADLs by myself. Yeah, things would have went a lot better. But I'm not leaving work feeling down on myself and feeling bad anymore, and neither should you. Now this one right here, number 3, we've been saying this all along. We don't want any more pizza. Keep your pizza party. Find something else to feed us. Bring in a nice chicken salad, okay? Bring in some grilled salmon. We are sick of eating pizza. Another thing that we're not doing, the bowls of candy. We don't want the candy. Please, like, bring us in some nice fruit. Bring us in some pineapples, some watermelon. Bring us something to feed our souls and nourish us while we're here running around taking care of the sickest patients in the hospital, or while we're here taking care of patients and dealing with family members. The candy is not doing anything but contributing to poor health, causing us to have a sugar rush and eventually crashing. The pizza, no. We don't want it. Keep your pizzas, okay? We're not doing that in 2024. The broken refrigerator in the break room, we need a new refrigerator. We're not even asking for stainless steel. You could give us a white refrigerator. But oftentimes, our break rooms as nurses, subpar, a hot mess. No coffee machine, no Keurig machine. It's a mess. Sometimes it's like there's not enough space for us to put our bags down, not enough chairs for everyone to sit and eat when they come in there. Like, the break rooms are a mess that the nurses have to deal with. And what's so funny is that most hospitals have a doctor's lounge. The doctor's lounge has free coffee. They get free snacks. So why can't we get that? Because without us, without nurses, healthcare would crash. So can we at least get a decent break room and a decent refrigerator? Refrigerator be a mess. You don't even want to put your food in there sometimes. So for 2023, we want a better break room. We want a better refrigerator. Number 4, this is a big one. Take your breaks and take your lunches. In a 12-hour shift, a nurse is entitled to a 15-minute break in the morning, a 30-minute lunch break, and a 15-minute break in the afternoon. For me, I never take a morning break. I usually drink my coffee while I'm getting a report and while I'm documenting, right? For my break, I will combine that morning break and that lunch break and take 45 minutes. And then late in the evening, I'll go sit down and eat my dinner in the second 15-minute break. Stop skipping y'all lunches. Stop skipping y'all breaks. No matter, like I always tell nurses, the work is always going to be there. The work is not going anywhere. The patient is not going anywhere. Now, unless it's an emergency and you have to stay, like your patient's going into distress or you have an emergency situation happening, yes, your lunch or your break might be delayed, but you should never at the end of the day say, I didn't even take lunch today or I didn't even take break. We're no longer doing that in 2023. Take your breaks and take your lunches. And you should also try leaving the floor whenever you're on that, especially if you're on your longer break, like your lunch break. You should leave the floor. That way you're not being interrupted. Like, oh, I walked by your room and such is going on. I'm eating. Can I please have an uninterrupted break? Number 5. You know what I'm so over? Those long morning huddles. I'm not doing that in 2023. I'm just not. Like, I get it that there's information that needs to be put out before the shift starts, but is there any reason why the charge nurse or whoever's reading the huddle, why you're going on for 15 minutes? Like, sometimes I get to work and it's 7:15, 7:16, and they're still in huddle. What are y'all talking about? Huddle needs to be more efficient. You know why? Because I need to get my day started. You know why? Because there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. You know why? I don't have a technician working with. You don't have a secretary. I can't afford to sit there and hear you ramble on about this and that and things that we already know, and you just adding your own sentiments to it. Huddle needs to be efficient for 2023. We are not doing any more long, drawn out, long-winded huddles. Number 6, Nurses Week. The subpar gifts that we get on Nurses Week, we don't want them. Here are some options. Here are some things that nurses would like to receive during Nurses Week. Give us some discount codes for like the local restaurants or the local retailers. Give us things like scented candles, aromatherapy. That way when we get off from the stressful ass shift that we have, we can come home and light a nice scented candle. Give us, give us some massage, like bring some masseuses. Is that what you call them? Yeah, bring the masseuse on site, so we can go down on our breaks, because we taking our breaks Give us the masseuse during Nurses Week, or give us like a coupon to go get a free massage. Like, partner with somebody, something, some wellness, some kind of self-care company, so we too can feel some level of appreciation, because we're not feeling it any other time. At least during Nurses Week, try to come up with something more meaningful rather than tossing us like pizza and bringing us candy and coming around with your snack bars filled with Cheetos and Doritos saying that you appreciate us. No, we don't want that. For Nurses Week, we want something that speaks to our wellness. 7, this is a big one. 2023, we're not doing VIP patients. We are not doing VIP patients. No patient is a VIP. All of the patients are the same. They all get the same treatment. And that has always been my philosophy. I can't tell you how many times working at hospitals, you go in, you get a report, and you hear from the off-going nurse, yeah, this patient's a VIP. What you mean they're VIP? VIP for who? So, like, do I change the way that I nurse because this patient is a VIP? Do I change the way that I speak? Do I change my entire approach because this patient is a VIP? We're not doing that in 2023. We weren't doing it before 2023, but I'm just letting y'all know we're not doing it in 2023. All patients will be treated the same. The patient who's coming off of the street corner, homeless, addicted to drugs, will get the same treatment that the CEO of the top financial firm in the country gets if they're laying in that bed and I'm their nurse. I don't play that VIP nonsense, and you shouldn't either. Number 8, 2023, I want the compliments. I want to be recognized and acknowledged for doing a good job, especially if my patient says to the charge nurse, oh, Kendra's a really good nurse, or Kendra did a really good job on me when, you know, whatever, when I came in and I had a hard time and the pain was too much, she attended to my pain. Those are the compliments I want to be included on my yearly review. All right? Don't only come to us when you have something negative to say. And that's what happens a lot. Like in nursing, they will always be quick to point out what you did, what you didn't do. However, oftentimes when the patient leaves a compliment or calls in to give a compliment, we almost never hear it. We don't hear it. And let me give you a quick story. One time I was a home care nurse and I went to admit a new patient on the home care services. The nurse who discharged the patient from the hospital gave some excellent directions on her discharge instruction paperwork. Like she highlighted, she wrote the next time the patient was supposed to get each meds. You can tell she sat and she gave education to the patient and his wife. And they complimented her. And to be honest, the nurse that discharged them was one of my former students. So I'm like, oh, I know her. I was her instructor, right? And they were like, oh, small world. Anyway, I ended up shooting an email. I got the manager's email for the unit that my friend, former student, worked on. And I sent an email to the manager saying that I'm the home care nurse who admitted this patient. This patient was cared for by such and such nurse, you know, that works on your unit. She gave excellent instructions on the discharge paperwork. She gave the family a lot of education. The family felt prepared when they came home to care for the patient until me, the home care nurse, came in to assume care. I followed up with my friend. She said, you know, that manager ain't say nothing. She never said anything about the email you sent her. And I'm like, you see, that's that BS. That's what they do. A lot of managers be hating on their nurses, but that's a different story for a different time. Like, we want our compliments. Give us our roses. Give us our roses. Give it to us. We deserve them. This is the last one, and I think this is the most important one. Nurses are not taking the blame anymore. We are not bearing the burden for your short staffing, for your lack of ability to hire people, for your lack of ability to retain people that want to work for the institution, work for the hospital. I'm not taking the blame. I've been stopped taking the blame. Let me give you all an example. The one thing that would get me, right, is when they would gaslight you. This is another form of the gaslighting. You're short staffed. You're running around like a crazy person. Your patients are calling. You're getting to their rooms late. The medicines are late. Pain medicines are not on time. And it's all because you're short staffed. And management will say, don't ever tell the patients or the family that you're short staffed. So what you want me to tell them? You want for me to take the burden and the blame? Oh, so you want me to just look incompetent? No, we're not doing that. If we're short staffed, ma'am, I'm sorry. you know, I was trying to get to you on time. I know you wanted your pain meds, or I know you needed to be fed, but unfortunately we don't have enough staff, and I was over in the other room taking care of a patient who couldn't breathe. What do y'all want me to say? Like, what am I supposed to tell the patient if when I walk into the room and they're giving me dirty looks? Am I supposed to like shoulder the burden of the institution not doing what they're supposed to do? We're not doing that anymore in 2023. Comments. Okay. Leave me some comments on things that you think nurses should not be doing in 2023. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.